Toastmaster. Please. And the phrase is, I will relinquish the lecture.
What is that? Yeah.
You don't want to turn it over.
Relinquish.
What did we
Club business. This is the time of year we have to install the new club officers. And I'm making a recommendation that Lawrence become the new president of the club.
And if nobody else wants to, I will take that position again. But if somebody else wants to do that has not yet had that opportunity, I'm willing to relinquish that position. I'm more than happy to do it. I've done it before, and apparently they must have liked me because they want me to do it again. So.
We have a second on that.
Second.
Okay. That being said, we now have a new president. I'm going to take Lawrence's position as the membership officer, and we'll just put people in other positions. Okay. And at this time, we're going to, okay, anything else for business concerns?
What about other positions?
The other positions are going to be the treasurer. We want to keep constant. We want to keep Mark in his position because he doing a great job, Mark, getting people out, letting people know about Toastmasters that are coming out. So we want to keep that going. Pretty much, we want to keep everything else running through this rule. And I just want to do a quick switch out with Lawrence. Kedrick, we had you down. You want to be the secretary?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. This would be good to go on your leadership training.
Okay.
Having a position. Right.
Okay.
Do we have a
Sergeant at Arms?
Sergeant at
Arms is Maurice. He right now.
Maurice?
I put it down for last time. Sergeant at Arms.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll talk about
Okay.
it.
Okay.
There'll be
That's
some
fine.
training, upcoming training this month. There'll be district training. Now I'll be active this afternoon.
Will there be a district meeting?
District meeting. Right. There'll be a district meeting.
I mean, among the area.
Right. For the district training.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
If you're not able to make it, then we have to try to make arrangements, but it's important to try to make it to the training, district training.
Things have changed. They've changed the names of everything.
Right.
Okay.
We
So
have to
when
see
will
what
this
that
take
is.
place?
We'll find out.
It's coming up probably in July.
Oh.
Sometime
Yeah.
in June.
Okay. Okay. All right.
The office positions start July 1st, and so we have to submit it to Toastmasters International before then.
On July 1st, it starts.
That's when the offices, that's the session for the officers, starting July 1st. So we have to make sure that it gets submitted to Toastmaster International before that deadline.
We're going to switch out this month and be in place for.
Oh, okay. All right, that'll work.
All right. Joyous, will you send me an email of all the officers and their member numbers, and so I can try and update the Easy Speak?
Sure, I'll do that.
All right.
Put it in here, please, for me.
All right, at this time, I'll be acting as your Toastmaster for the new people that are new. Toastmasters more or less like the MC. Make sure the meeting runs smoothly, introduce the speakers, introduce the next person taking part in the education portion. And my job is to make sure all the roles are filled. We have a grammarian, which would be Lawrence Crompton. Lawrence, will you tell what the role is for the grammarian?
The grammarian is the person who tries to help to make sure that everyone is speaking properly, basically. We do a couple of different things. We have a word of the day, and the word of the day today is predicate, and I did not get a chance to look it up. Do you know the specific?
I got it printed out.
Ah, you are awesome. Oh, peace be with you, my brother. Okay, to predicate is to proclaim, to declare, to affirm, to assert. Oh, they don't have a, maybe that's on the next page. Usually they got a little story. But it is a, predicate is to declare, affirm, assert. So it's the subject of a proposition, and they don't have any wording here to explain. Like usually they have a sentence that goes with it, but I don't have that at the moment. But to assert or affirm. All right, now also I try to keep an eye on whether people are using filler words, like using duplicate words, like if you say and then, you know, so you kind of pause because you forgot what you were saying. All of this is done, of course, all of our evaluations are done on a level that is trying to help each other to grow. So it's not like, I caught you. It's, you know, we want to make each other stronger and better at our communication and leadership, and so we try to help each other to communicate more effectively. So those are the things that I am going to try to use.
All right, thank you, Lawrence. The duties of the grammarian. Next, we'll have the timer. And Maurice will be acting as the timer. Duties of the timer, Maurice.
To time each speech, to make sure that just to see if they come in within the allotted times. For example, the first speech, green will indicate 5 minutes, amber will indicate 6 minutes, and red will indicate 7 minutes. And then for table topics, green 1 minute, amber 1:30, red 2 minutes. So when the speaker speaks, when those times occur, then I will flash a card.
Okay, thank you. And Mark will be acting as our table topics. Mark, can you tell us about the duties of the table topics, Master?
Yeah, the table topic master arranges impromptu speeches. So he gives a topic, and then the speakers have 1 to 2 minutes to speak on whatever topic the topic master comes up with.
All right, thank you. Pretty much covered. And the evaluator. Lawrence, you're going to be down. You're going to be evaluating speeches. We'll just make you the general evaluator as well.
Okay.
Duties of the general evaluator. Well, I'll just take the duties of the evaluator. So you have.
You want to evaluate and I'll be general? Is that
Okay.
what you're saying?
Okay.
Okay, we can do that. And there's only one speech, so that's going to be me.
Because you're going to evaluate Maurice's speech, or you're going to do that.
Yes.
Okay, I'll do the general evaluator.
Okay.
You want to do the general evaluator, not do the speech.
Flip the coin?
All right.
No, you can do what you want to do. I'm game for everything. Sorry about the confusion, folks, but
Well,
somehow.
I'll be the speech evaluator. The duty of the speech evaluator is to evaluate the speech that's given based on the criteria that's put forth in the manual that the speaker is speaking for. All speeches are come out of a manual and they have certain criteria that have to be met. And my job as an evaluator is to see how well the speaker met the criteria of the speech. Duties of the general evaluator. Duties of the general
Okay. The duties of a general evaluator are to evaluate the entire meeting. Did it start on time? Did we keep things going smoothly through the entire meeting? I also introduce all of the different positions, the timer, the grammarian. Also, I introduce the people who are supposed to be evaluating the speeches. And that's basically, again, to try to help everyone to be more effective in running meetings and participating in meetings. Toastmasters is more than communication. It is leadership and communication.
All right, thank you. Our first speaker tonight will be Kedrick Petway. He'll be speaking out of the Company Communicator Manual. This will be speech number 2. The objective of the speech is to Organize your speech. Strong opening and conclusion. Outline that can be followed and understood. Clear message with supporting material. Appropriate transition. Would you please help me welcome Keith Pickler?
Okay, good afternoon or good evening. The title of my speech is Why Scrum/Agile Development Method Better Than the Waterfall Approach. So before I go into details about why one method is better than the other, let me give you a little background information about myself. As stated, my name is Keith Pickler. Thank you Julius for the introduction. I've been working in the IT sector for the past 11 years. 5 of those years as a software engineer. During that time period, I have worked on multiple projects across the following sectors: the Department of Defense, higher education, healthcare, and I have worked in the public and private sector on projects. Some of the projects being 1 to 2 man team projects up to large projects excuse me, that span across the enterprise. Now that I've gotten the boring stuff out of the way, let's get back to the main topic. So I have one question for you guys. Has anyone heard of Facebook, Google, Apple, or Amazon?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, everyone's heard of them. Okay, so we'll get back to them. Just wanted to kind of give you a clue as to where I was going with this. So you may be asking, what is Scrum/Agile and what is Waterfall? Let me tell you what they are. So Scrum is defined as an iterative and incremental agile software development methodology for managing product development. It defines a flexible, holistic product development strategy where a development team works as a unit to reach a common goal. It challenges the assumptions of traditional/a sequential approach to product development. In addition, it provides day-to-day communication for all parties that are involved within the project. A key principle of Scrum is it recognizes that during a project that customers can change their minds about what they want and need in the scope of their development process. And that unpredicted challenges cannot be easily addressed in a traditional predictive or planned manner. That being said, Scrum adopts an empirical approach, accepting that the problem, which is what the software is developed to resolve, the problem cannot be fully understood or defined, focusing on maximizing the team's ability to deliver quickly and respond to emerging requirements. The Scrum methodology focuses on getting what's called an MMF, which the acronym stands for Minimal Marketable Feature, to the client/stakeholder. This allows the development team to get feedback from the stakeholders early and often. This ensures that the time is not wasted on building features that the client did not want to begin with and will probably never use. Okay, so that was the definition of Scrum. The next thing I want to give you the definition for is the waterfall method. Waterfall, on the other hand, is defined as a sequential design process using software development process, in which progress is seen as flowing steadily downwards like a waterfall. I didn't bring any visual aids. I thought we had a whiteboard in here, but basically you can think of waterfall as being, you have the different layers of a waterfall, trickling down. So you have the conception, the initiation, the analysis, and then the final design of the product. Also including testing and implementation. So this type of development leads to the client usually not seeing the product until it has been completed. Often the end result is not what the client wanted to begin with. In every sector, I have seen several failed projects using the waterfall method. Often the reason that a project fails using the waterfall method can be sorted out to 1 or 2 reasons. The first reason being what's been defined or called scope creep. Scope creep is defined as uncontrolled changes or continuous growth in a project's scope. Scope creep often leads into going over budget and increased time to get the final product out the door to the client. The second reason that waterfall usually doesn't work is there typically are changes in requirements on the fly, and this is caused a lack of clearly defined process for getting the product out the door. Excuse me. Scrum/Agile, on the other hand, doesn't allow much room for scope creep. Additionally, features are clearly defined in the sprint, which is the development cycle, and they only last a specific amount of time, usually 10 to 14 work days. This allows the developers to get feedback early and often from all parties involved in the project. You may be wondering, as a consumer of software products, why should I care? Let me tell you why I should care. The reason you may care is because these decisions can affect your day-to-day life without you knowing. Not so much as your health or physical well-being, but it can definitely affect your user experience with devices that you use on a daily basis. These devices can include your iPhone, iPad, tablet PC, and just about any other electronic device that you use. Another reason you should care is because decisions that these software companies make by choosing which development methodology to use can affect the quality and timeliness of new products or features being shipped to you, the client. So before I ask you about the big four tech companies, and if you knew who they were, so one thing I want to tell you is that one thing they do all have in common is that throughout their progress as companies and maturation, they've all abandoned a waterfall method in place for Agile/Scrum development methodology. The company I currently work for, the SSI Group, has recently adopted an Agile method for new product development. Over the course of the past 2 years, the company has been able to transform how new products get developed and get out to the clients more efficiently. This has been a plus since now the products ship on time and the quality has been increased with the Agile development methodology. In closing, I have given you the pros and cons to using a Scrum/Agile approach to software development versus the traditional waterfall method. Based off the information presented to you, do you also agree that Scrum/Agile is better than the waterfall method?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Scrum and what was the other one?
Waterfall.
Waterfall, right. Good information, good information. Now at this time, we'll move to table topics, and Mark DeVoe will be our table topics master. Please help me welcome Mark DeVoe.
All right, this is going to be a first, so we'll try and ask for volunteers so I don't have to assign anybody.
I'll go first because I dread table topics, so I'll get it out of the way.
Okay. Tonight's theme is going to be, at what age do we let our children do things? So your question tonight is, at what age will you let your child get a cell phone? And it assumes that you're
Okay, we're having some technical difficulty. Could you repeat that?
Okay, yes, I'll repeat that. At what age will your child get a cell phone?
Okay. Okay.
table topics is it's a hard thing for me to do. I find giving a speech a lot easier than table topics. But to answer Mark's question, at what age will my child get a cell phone? I would have to say probably as a teenager. You see a lot of kids nowadays running around with cell phones really young. My mother was a third grade teacher, and she told me that she had children in her class that had cell phones, that when they would talk to their parents, they would talk back to their parents and hang up via cell phone. And this is in third grade. Cell phones nowadays are everywhere. They allow you to play games. They allow you to do everything. I definitely think that they take up a little bit more time in people's lives than they need to be. Live in an electronic world, and they're good, but my child will probably not have one until they definitely teenager. I'll leave it at that.
All right, who'd like to go next?
I will. All right.
All right. This is okay. It's Joyous, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tilt the camera down a little bit? I can just see the top of your head. There we go. All right. Yes. Joyous. At what age? If you could tilt it back up now. I can't.
Yeah. I'm busy. My thing kind of broke here. Hold on.
Oh no.
Okay, we can hear you anyhow.
All right. At what age will your daughter start dating?
My daughter is 19, so that age is past. She has already started dating, but I think an appropriate age for a young lady to start dating would be 16. 16 is a good age where you can make fairly good decisions about who you want to spend your time with. Anything younger than that, you have a tendency to be impressed with things that are not important as much as you get a little bit older, a little more wiser. The things that you think you would probably fall for looks or flashy clothes aren't as important. 16 is still close. Get a little bit older, those things still are kind of important. But as you get older, you make better decisions, hopefully. But definitely no time before 16. 14 is too young. So about my daughter, that's what I told my daughter. You're not going to date before you are 16. And that was the issue. And she's okay with it. She hasn't made any bad mistakes yet, so she's good. That's a good age. All right, 16 is good. All right, thank you.
All right, who's next?
Speak up. Say it loud.
You can take. I'll do next.
You'll do next. Okay.
I'm not going to move you around so much because my little stand.
Yeah, that's fine. Just leave it there. All right. At what age? What's the minimum age that you would let your daughter get married?
Whew, that's a hard one. That's kind of similar to letting my daughter date. Well, my daughter currently is in her early 20s, and to step back just one step, I don't know that there is ever an age where you're comfortable with your daughter dating. It's just one of those things. As far as getting married, I think that a good time for a daughter to start dating is after she gets married. But in our society, that might be a little bit difficult. So that's one of those things that kind of has to work itself out. I think now that she's over 20, she's probably got the intelligence and the stability to actually make the kind of decision that would be necessary for picking a good match, if that can ever happen. So, you know, as a father, I don't know that there is ever going to be a good match, and so it's kind of hard to say when would be a good time to get married. But I think that she's at an age in the early 20s is a decent age. But I didn't get married till in my 30s, and I personally think that the older you are, the more wisdom you have in making these choices. So, be that as it may, she's probably going to get married before I'm ready for it. Mr. Topic, or Mr. Topic Master.
I would prefer my daughters not start dating until they're 29, but they have a different opinion.
Okay. All right, I think Maurice put his hand up a minute ago if you want to
All right.
next.
What's the green minute?
So, Maurice, at what age will you let your children get a Facebook account?
Topic master. Though I don't have any children yet, my ideal age to let my children have a Facebook account would be at least 15. I see a lot of younger Facebook friends, or a few Facebook friends, that lie about their birth date.
Yes.
So, you know, these days it's hard to, it's more difficult to monitor someone's activity. I mean, unless you're right there. But at least 15 is an ideal age, or older, for a child to get a Facebook account. And these days, you see kids much younger get into serious mischief that you didn't see a typical youngster 20, 30 years ago or more get into. So it takes a lot of monitoring these days because you have so much more available, you know, to children these days. Topic master.
Who's next?
We have a couple of guests. Do you want me to say it?
She said, what's your name?
Yashika.
Yashika said she would like to participate.
Can you spell your name right quick?
YASHIKA.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you catch that?
I didn't catch all of it.
Okay,
but
your name Yashika.
Okay, Yashika. So, are you a Georgia Tech graduate?
Yes, I am. I'm a yellow jacket.
I think he's Marcus of Yellow Jacket.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, actually, it was mentioned in the previous speaker about supervision. So, in our family, we have the computer in the kitchen, and so our kids are not allowed to use the computer unsupervised. At what age would you think children should be allowed to be on Google unsupervised?
Well, hi, I'm Yashika Agarwala. This is going to be my first speech in any form. I will try to make the best of what I do today. Talking of, you know, at what age a kid should be allowed to use Google without supervision, I would say, according to me, a good age would be somewhere around 13 to 14, because students, or as a matter of any kids these days, have a lot of projects, and internet is just not a source of wrong usage or wrong media or wrong any kind of information, I think you can always kind of install ad blockers and blockers with passwords which cannot be like overridden by your kids which are below that age. So you can always kind of monitor your students in that manner, because this way they will also be able to access a lot of good things that are there on the internet, like probably a lot of like National Geographic, the free encyclopedias, good information, free sources like Wikipedia. But you can also keep them off stuff that you do not want to see, like Facebook or whatever things that you think might not benefit them at that age. So, well, I would say 12 to 13 would be a good age that when I would allow my child to go on the computer without any supervision, yet I would have some supervision at the background. So, yes, I would keep it at that. Thank you so much.
All right, very good.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
I'm kind of interested in it because it seems to be a lot
Okay, one more guest. This is Jonathan.
All right, all right.
All right, Jonathan. With Netflix, you can control what movies your kids have access to. At what age would you give your children the unrestricted access to Netflix?
That's a little complicated because there's also, if you say completely unrestricted, you have everything from, R-rated films to those kindergarten films. So I guess, I suppose around the age of 13 or 14 would be appropriate, because by that age, if they're going to watch R-rated movies, they probably have already found a way to do it. So I might as well not block them off anymore. Then they probably kind of understand the consequences of taking in that more mature content. So in that way, it wouldn't really, by that point, they should be mature enough to understand that for them to watch it, they have to be mature. But yeah, around 13 years old seems like a good time for that kind of thing. And before then, it would just be, I guess at that point too, you would have everything under T13, which is usually that. Of course, T13 indicates the age of 13 would be the appropriate age to view that content. So yeah, everything under T13 up until they're about that age, or younger if they show maturity, and then give them unrestricted access around that time. That's what I would think.
Okay.
Is that it?
I'll do it.
All right. All good speeches.
All right, thank you, Mark. There was some good table topics, thought-provoking, entertaining. And at this time, we will move to the evaluation portion of the meeting. They say that evaluation is the breakfast of champions, being able to receive good feedback on your performance. And we'll have our general evaluator being Lawrence Crumpton. All right.
Once again, the purpose of a general evaluator is to oversee the entire meeting's evaluation. We did start right on time, although we did, by vote, decide to postpone the start of our meeting for about 5 minutes while we figured out our technical problems and took care of that. So then the meeting kind of got a little bit hung up in the business portion. It kind of got a little bit, I think that could have been handled a little bit better if we had put a bit more forethought into it before we started it out. But it all came out all right, and then we started our meeting. The first thing that we did in the meeting was we had our first speaker, who was Kendrick, or Kedrick, excuse me, I always call him, and he is going to be evaluated by Julius Armstrong. So I'd like to invite Julius up here to give his evaluation.
general evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, honored guest. My responsibility is to evaluate Keedra's speech. His speech was about Scrum and waterfall. And it's predicated on a lot of technical information, which Keith did a good job of trying to make it less technical. Speech value was the first thing I say. Speech value was interesting and meaningful to the audience. I say yes, because he asked questions about were we familiar with some of the companies that use Scrum and waterfall research. It appears that you put some research into it, having some background in the field, but you also had some new information. Organization, was it logical and clear? It was logical, and it was clear enough that I understood most of it. Body, did it flow smoothly and appropriate? You had support material. Yes, you said you would have been better off if you had had a whiteboard, but you were able to put the information out that you wanted us to know about. Conclusion, you asked us at the end, why should we care about the information? And ended by telling us why we should want to know about the information, because it was something that we needed to know about how people made decisions. It said, what could the speaker have done differently to make the speech more effective? What I said was, if you had a chosen one of those methods, you just said, hey, I want to speak to you tonight about waterfall, and why waterfall is such a more effective procedure to take. And we would just spend a lot more time on waterfall. And use less notes. The information was heavy, so I mean, I know you need some notes, but just a few less notes. What do you like about the presentation? I like the fact that you're very comfortable with speaking about in your field technical information. You're able to bring it over to less technical minded individuals. And you seem to really enjoy talking about it because you know a lot about it. And I could pick up some of that enthusiasm you had for it. And I look forward to hearing your next speech. And that's my evaluation. Thank you.
Very good. All right. Also, I did also think that it was a very good speech, very informational speech. And although there was a lot of information there that was a little bit over my technical understanding, he did try to express it in a way I would understand, and I like that. Next, we have our timer. We'd like to get a report from our timer. You don't have to come up. If you want, you can just report from right there.
Okay, all right. The time on Keedrick's speech was minutes and 38 seconds. On the table topics, Luke, 1 minute and 17 seconds. Julius, 1 minute 14 seconds. Lawrence, 1 minute 42 seconds. Maurice, 1 minute 22 seconds. Yashika, 1 minute 24 seconds. And John, 1 minute 21 seconds. And the evaluator, Julius, his was 2 minutes 33 seconds. And that's the times report.
Okay, the next report is going to be from the grammarian. That's me. So there were a lot of ahs and ums and those kind of things. Just about everyone who spoke used some of these. I don't usually count the guests, so I didn't even pay attention when those happened, but I did notice myself using them quite a bit more than I used to use. So I know myself I have to focus on using less ahs and ums. And just for future thought, a lot of the clubs, what they do is they have some kind of a sound device that the grammarian will use to let people know when they have said ahs and ums. And when I first started in Toastmasters, I found this to be a very good way to realize when you are using this kind of terminology. Some little bell club that we were in at that time, actually this club was different. A roll of dimes. And then whenever you got up to speak, you would put the roll of dimes down, and every time you did an ah or an they would throw it into the basically the cookie jar. And that's what we used to get snacks if we ever decided to do that. And that was kind of interesting, because you had all the coins in it. Every time you threw another one in, it would make a lot of noise, and everybody would know. And that way, it's like a trigger in your brain. And I would like to recommend that we think about the possibility of doing something that in this club, because I hear a lot of ahs and ums, especially from the newer people. And I mean, somebody like me should be out of it by now, but I realize I'm doing a lot more. Anyway, that's for another topic, another day. Also, word usage errors. I did notice that when Kedrick spoke, at one point he did once or twice use double wording, where you started to say something and you paused and then you started to say it again. Not a big deal, but it's just something you want to think about. One thing I noticed with, again, word usage with Julius, he said it would have been good if we had a whiteboard. And I think that if he had said would have had, it probably would have been more grammatically correct. All right, a very effective word was scrum. That's a word I have not actually heard used except in rugby or something. I think that's some play they do in rugby. And that was the only time I'd ever heard that word used, so I was kind of interested that it was used in that way. And I heard the word of the day used twice. Once by Julius and once by Luke. So that is going to be the end of the general evaluation. Otherwise, it looks like we are still plenty good for our time frame on this meeting. And I would like to relinquish the lectern to our Toastmaster.
Thank you, Ron. I'd like to say that we have had a good meeting. It was good that we had some new members, some new guests, and both you guys participated. I was impressed with your efforts, having been first time speaking. You should have your first time speaking.
Yes.
Yeah, that was good, good. That Georgia Tech background helped out a lot, I'm sure.
Thank you.
What I want to talk to you about tonight is Distinguished Club Program. And that's what all clubs are striving to be, the Distinguished Club. And what is the Distinguished Club? Distinguished Club Program includes 10 goals that the club should strive to achieve each year. When your club incorporates the moment of truth to every meeting, you're already well on the way to being the company's goals. The 10 goals are grouped in 4 areas. Education. Members who have the opportunity to earn education awards are reaching their goals. Every time you give a speech, participate in a leadership activity, you're reaching your goals of becoming an accomplished communicator, a competent leader. Membership. When new members join, every experience is enhanced because the club has enough members to provide leadership in the field meetings and committee assignments. The club has added new members, so we have opportunity to fill roles. It's easier to fill the roles. Training. Trained club officers are better able to serve and support your club because they know how best to fulfill their roles. And that's why we have training twice a year. And we're going to probably do some things with our new president probably about the roles that everybody, you have a role, you need to know what your role is. If you're going to be the sergeant at arms, you need to know what sergeant at arms does. You need to know what your roles require. Administration. Fulfilling administrative duties including submitting information on time, helping your club run more smoothly, which benefits the members. How it works. The Distinguished Club Program is an annual program running from July the 1st through June the 30th. The program consists of 10 goals your club should strive to achieve using the Club Success Program. The qualifying requirements. The qualifying requirement is a prerequisite or prior condition for participating in the program. If a qualifying requirement is not met, the club may not earn distinguished recognition even if our goals are met. We're striving to reach that based on last year's performance. We didn't reach our goal, but the thing about it is when every year comes, you have another opportunity to reach your goals. And that's where we are, new opportunity. Goals, education goals. We need 2 company communicator awards. So as you guys pick up your company communicator, we have a couple of, at least 3 people in line to become company communicators. 2 more company CC awards. 1 advanced communicator bronze. We have a couple of people who picked up that distinction. Advanced communicator silver. Bronze is the only way of picking that roll up. 1 more conference CB, ACS, conference communicator gold award, and 1 competent leader. Everybody out in the group is in a position to be a competent leader. Finish those 10 tasks and you become a competent leader. And 1 more competent leader, 1 competent leader bronze, 1 competent leader silver, or 1 distinguished Toastmaster award. And everybody's goal in the Toastmasters is to become a distinguished Toastmaster. You go through your books, go through your leadership manuals, and you become let's say about 2 years, everybody should become a distinguished Toastmaster. Membership, 4 new members. I've counted these 3 or 4 members already, so we're well on our way with that. 4 more new members. Picking up members. Training, a minimum of 4 club officers trained during each of the 2 training periods. Okay. Administration, on-time payments of membership dues. Everybody gets paid. By names of 8 members, at least 3 of whom must be renewing members for 1 period, and on-time submission of 1 club officer list. We'll be submitting that list as well. And goals 1 through 6 focus on education awards. When members have the opportunity to reach their education goal, they are benefiting from the Toastmasters experience, becoming better speakers and leaders. And that's the whole objective of Toastmasters. Is for every time you speak, we want to be inspiring people. We want to be influencing people. So when you come to Toastmasters, those are primary objectives. Every time you speak, you inspire somebody. Every time you speak, you are influencing somebody. And that's the goal of Toastmasters, to help you do that. Okay. Our next meeting will be June the 15th. Right, June the 15th. Mark, do you have anything?
Yes. Our Toastmaster is going to be Kedrick, and Francis is scheduled to give his icebreaker. I'm going to attempt to give a speech from the Communicating on Video manual.
Yeah, that's appropriate, huh?
Yeah, and stressing attempt. So, Lawrence, if there's any way you could come early, or if you can figure out what it took to connect, we've somehow got to figure out how to replicate that.
Yeah, it was. I'd been working on it since like quarter till.
Okay, all right. Well, believe it or not, Adam Strange is watching this meeting on YouTube. He was unable to connect through the Hangout, and so he's been watching this whole thing, and we've been communicating via text during the meeting. He, for whatever reason, he was not able to connect to the Hangout, so he couldn't participate, but he has been watching the whole meeting. So,
okay.
Everybody say hi to Adam. He's watching us.
Anybody else? Anything else for the good of the order?
Mark, does Mark need a table topics master for that meeting on June 15th?
Let's see. Right now, Constance is scheduled for Table Topic Master.
Roger.
Okay.
What about a speech?
I think he's just saying that Mark and
Mark and Francis are both doing speeches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I tell you what,
but we can.
Somebody wants to
for the first.
If somebody is wanting to give an icebreaker, they always have priority in the meeting. So
Yep.
All right, I think if we get off, we want to thank our guests for coming out tonight. I appreciate your participation. Look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Time. So, what do you do?
I just graduated from Georgia Tech. I did a master's, and
Who you want?
Oh, actually, I was going to ask if Lawrence, if you could email me the contact information of our guests. And
I will.
I'll get them set up in EasySpeak.
Okay, good enough.
All right.
Okay. Is the job down here?
yeah, I just got a job down here. I'm an environmental engineer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Engineer as well.